If I sit on your lap, do I get a Christmas wish?
Oh, yes, yes, you can sit on my lap whenever you want. Christmas came early for Conan. Last time you were on the show, you were very pregnant.
I was.
And since that time, you've given birth. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Boy, girl?
Boy. 4 months old. His name is Stellan.
His name is Stellan?
Stellan, yes.
Stellan. Okay,
Yeah.
that's an unusual name, and I'm one to talk, too. My name's Conan, but what's Stellan all about? Stellan is unusual. Did you...
Yeah, it's a Swedish name. It's just a common name in Sweden. And Paul, my husband, has a friend named Stellan Skarsgård, who I've yet to meet.
Well, you named it after someone you haven't met. That takes guts.
Yeah, and I'm a bit nervous about the whole thing. I mean, evidently when Paul called Stellan to tell him that we had named our child after him, he said, "Wonderful, does this mean I can suck on your wife's breast?"
Oh, what a wonderful man. Well, first the answer would be no, I guess. But second of all, that's, yeah, you've named your child after this guy. It's like, let's get some booby here, you know? It's terrible. You always got to meet, because that's what happens when you're trying to come up with a name. Both people, someone will go like, well, how about Arthur? And someone will go, no, a guy named Arthur gave me a huge wedgie in 5th grade.
Yeah,
and so that ruins the name.
It goes on like that. We had lists. We had endless lists. It was, you know, it's definitely going to be Alfie. It's definitely Alfie this week. And, you know, the next week, it's definitely Finn, you know, and everyone always has a reason why.
Right. Oh, you can't do that. It's the wrong thing. And you know what? I'm curious, because the last time you were here, you said you were thinking about doing a water birth.
Yes.
And I wasn't liking that idea of a water birth. I just was worried. I just thought, like, well, the baby's born, and the first thing, it's like, you're at the bottom of a tub, buddy, you know.
Yeah.
They'd get the wrong idea about Earth. They'd think we were all water people, you know.
Yeah, I remember. So, will you love me less if I say that we did do a water birth?
You went against my wishes. That's terrible. How could you do that? So you did. You did the water birth.
We did.
And what was it like?
It was extraordinary, I have to say. It was really, really wonderful. I highly recommend it for anyone who's considering this option.
Now, water birth, you're not floating in the ocean, or you're in a tub.
It was, basically, they call it a birthing pool. It's a glorified bathtub.
It's a bathtub.
You know, it's a bathtub.
They tell some guy, get out of there, we're having a birth.
Yeah.
He's like, huh? Whoa, okay.
But it's great, you know, sort of.
And it was a great experience because it's hippie style.
It's a bit hippie style. It's au naturel, as the French like to say.
Au naturel, meaning no clothes for you. Obviously no clothes for the baby, unless there's something I don't know about.
Yeah.
And where was your husband during the whole birth?
He was in the room with us. He was outside the tub, sort of leaning in, and I was sort of leaning forward.
And then eventually, did you get him into the tub too?
Yeah, after Stellan was born, they handed Stellan to me, and we stayed in the tub, and then Paul got in with us.
Wow, so it's the three of you. That's just
yeah, it was really lovely, I have to say. I'm blushing now.
Oh, yeah, well, it's a personal thing, so I hope I'm not prying, but it just seems like it's a nice way. But you are, and I must have photos now. Let's take a look. I found these in the tabloids.
No, it was really beautiful. I mean, it was really, you know, it's always a difficult kind of thing to do, but it was really extraordinary, I have to say.
And your husband, excellent actor Paul Bettany, and you had the baby in London because he was filming there, is that right?
He was doing a film called Wimbledon, and he played a professional tennis player who wins Wimbledon.
Did he have to get in amazing shape for that role?
Yes, he was a man who used to love to make fun of me for exercising ever, and loathed the idea of exercise, and he became really addicted to it. He got very big and buff. It was a bit shocking.
Well, it must be nice. Don't women like it when their man gets in incredible shape? I wouldn't know. I have no idea.
You know, it was strange. I mean, he went over to London early. I had to stay behind, and I joined him about 3 weeks later, maybe a month later. And he'd been working out the whole time that I was gone. And when I first saw him, it was kind of scary. I felt like I was cheating on my husband.
Like, who is this guy? Yeah.
Who is these big muscles? He'd been to the tanning bed and everything. It was all.
That's why I will not work out. I refuse to do it. I think it would be too shocking for my wife. Letting myself go.
Congratulations on your baby.
Yes, we had a baby 9 weeks ago. 9 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
We did a cab birth.
Did you?
Explains our last guest tonight. I'll explain that later. It's very au naturel. We were all naked. Including the cabbie, which was, she'll tell you about it. Now, you're going to live in New York now, is that right? You have a place here?
I've finally gotten out of the box that I've been living in for the last 10 years. We've bought a home, a proper house in New York.
Wow. Because you were living in a pretty tiny apartment.
Pretty tiny place. Yeah, we haven't bought any furniture, so we're still inhabiting about the same amount of space.
Right.
Unfortunately, we have one couch, which is in the kitchen, and one bed.
People don't know what it's like, who haven't lived in Manhattan, don't know what this whole situation is like. And we joked about this the other day on the show, but when they caught Saddam Hussein and they said he's been living in a 5x8 hole infested with mice, I was like, that goes for $3,000 a month in this town. You know, all over New York, people were like, was it available? Can you get it?
So true.
We have a clip here of House of Sand and Fog, but before we show the clip, I'd like to, people to know, understand what the movie's about. It's a great idea for a movie.
It's well, in the quick encapsulation, it's my house is taken away. It's a big mistake. I have really nothing left to hold on to. The house is sort of my last connection to any place in the world. And Ben Kingsley's character, his family buys the house at auction.
Sort of takes it away from you.
It takes it away from me. It's all a big mistake. I'm trying to get it back. It's this huge sort of collision of these two families, but it's also, looks at people who are isolated, who don't know. It's about intolerance. It's about people don't know how to, can't see each other or speak to each other.
He's such an intimidating presence in movies when he wants to be. He is in this scene in particular, but Sir Ben Kingsley can really, do you know what I mean, put the fear of God into you when you watch him.
Yeah, well, he's really talented, and I think all the characters in this movie, the director didn't want us to sort of coddle the characters, and so he let them be really human with all their flaws. And so my character is quite petulant at times, and Sir Ben's character has a really sort of violent streak in him, and he's an actor who won't shy away from putting that on the screen, which is really interesting.
Well, I really like this scene a lot. It's a scene from House of Sand and Fog. Let's take a look.
Look, my father left us this house. He left it to me and my brother.
You should be telling these things to the bureaucrats at the county tax office. They have made a mistake, not I.
Well, they said they will give you your money back, and I know you've put that deck on. I'm sure they'd repay you for that.
I'm sorry, mister. I have nothing more to say to anyone. Why should they be penalized for their incompetence? Tell me that. You should sue them for enough money to buy 10 homes. I will even sell you this house for the right price. That is all I require. I do not know where he left his hammers. There's nothing more to say.
Come with me. You can't expect to just move in here and make money off of this. This is my house. I lived here, and you stole this house from me, you son of a...
I would not want to tangle with him. I would not want to try and get an extension on my rent from that character. By the way, are you ready to do a comedy now? It feels like you've done a lot of brilliant work. It's very intense. Are you ready to do something just silly, just for yourself?
First I'd like a nap. I'm so sleepy.
Right. This show has that effect on people, yes. That's why I'm here, people.
But after that, I would love to do a comedy. I don't think... I think I have a little work to do, because I don't think I'm high on people's list. I think when they think, oh, we have this new comedy, let's get that girl from, let's say, Requiem for a Dream.
Right.
It's just not, I think I'm just not high up there on the list.
You and me, we'll do a buddy cop comedy, you and I.
Fantastic.
Yes, your career will then be destroyed, and you will sue me. House of Sand and Fog opens tomorrow in New York and L.A., nationwide, next Friday. Always an honor to have you here. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Jennifer Connelly, everyone. Louis Black coming up to take a break. We'll be right back.